Perdão pela minha pronúncia se estiver incorreta.
No, you did not pronounce my name wrong. Thank you so very much, Gabrielle. Honorable members, esteemed delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all. At the outset, first I must extend my heartfelt gratitude to Climate Parliament, OPCC and ECLAC for inviting us to this significant and timely conference. Your efforts to bring together thought leaders, policy makers and change makers on one platform to deliberate on climate change and environmental actions are truly commendable. We gather here today at a time when the earth is sending us urgent signals. Rising temperatures, extreme weather events, melting glaciers, vanishing biodiversity, and widespread environmental degradation. Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It is a present reality. We must understand that we are not giving anything to our Mother Earth, rather borrowing it from our kids or the next generation. Climate change and global environment change are not just environmental concerns. They are developmental, economic, and humanitarian issues. The impacts are disproportionately felt by the poorest and the most vulnerable, particularly in the global south. It is estimated that by 2050, over 200 million people could be displaced due to climate-induced reasons. Agriculture, water security, public health, and livelihoods are under increasing threat. India, under the visionary leadership of our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, has consistently demonstrated its commitment to climate action. India accounts for less than 4% of cumulative global carbon emissions, despite of being home to over 17% of the global population. We were among the first countries to ratify the Paris Agreement with an ambitious pledge through our nationally determined contributions. Through the International Solar Alliance, India has led a global movement towards clean and renewable energy. The Panchamrit strategy, announced at COP26 in Glasgow, achieving 500 gigawatt of non-fossil energy capacity by 2030, meeting 50% of energy requirements from renewable sources, reducing total projected carbon emissions by 1 billion tons, bringing down the carbon intensity of the economy by 45%, achieving net zero by 2070. Additionally, flagship programs in India like Ujala, PM Surya Ghar scheme, faster adoption of electrical vehicles, national hydrogen emission, and lifestyle for environment, life movement show our holistic approach from grassroots awareness to global commitments. As parliamentarians, our responsibility is twofold: to legislate wisely and to lead responsibly. We must frame inclusive, robust, and enforceable policies that safeguard the environment while ensuring equitable growth. We must monitor, implement, engage with local communities, and raise awarenesses. We must ensure climate budgeting, support green finance, and facilitate a just transition for affected industries and workers. At the end, I must also say we must work across party lines to ensure that climate resilience becomes a national priority, not just an environmental issue. Moreover, as public representatives, we are the bridges between science and society, policy and people. Our voice, our vote, and our vision can shape a future that it is clean, green, and sustainable. As Swami Vivekanand ji rightly pointed out, nature is the greatest teacher. The more we come in harmony with nature, the better for us. At the end, I would like to say the fight against climate change is not a sprint, but a marathon. It demands persistence, collaboration, and above all, leadership. Once again, I'd like to extend my thanks to OPCC, the ECLAC, and the Climate Parliament for giving us the opportunity and letting us know the problems that Latin America is facing regarding the climate changes. Thank you so very much. Jai Hind.